What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope you guys have all had a great Wednesday. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football draft. We are hopping into the Puppy 2 through Underdog Fantasy tonight. I'm super excited to be here. I don't want to waste a lot of time. I am ready to draft and throw together another squad for year. So, you guys know what to do, man. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for being here tonight. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. All we do here is free fantasy football content all year round. Best ball, redraft, dynasty, you name it, we've got it. So, make sure you guys hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. But most importantly, any fantasy football topics you guys would like to go over tonight, get it going. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So if you guys do want to join tonight's draft, all you need to do is have an Underdog account, hop into the Puppy 2 lobby, and make sure you're under 30 seconds per pick and enter at the same time as me. I'm probably going to enter right at 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. That way, if there are some of you guys out there who do want to join, you guys have the opportunity to do so. So we'll give this another minute or so, then I'm going to hop into the lobby, and we're going to throw together another squad. So if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, you can, of course, double your first deposit dollar by dollar up to $100 with promo code TheCatch. The promo link is in the description down below. And, yeah, let's do it, man. I'm excited. So, J-Dubs, what's going on, man? Let's see who's up in the live chat. Michael, what's going on? Are you guys joining me tonight? I sure hope so, and I hope that we, if you guys want to, we all end up in the same lobby. So about a minute here, and then we'll get this thing going. Nothing we really need to go over in terms of NFL news for the day, in terms of anything fantasy relevant. We do have Josh Allen on the cover of the next Madden. There might be a Madden cursing coming for Josh Allen, so we might want to think about that before we're drafting Josh Allen. I guess we have the DeAndre Hopkins news. Is slated to fly to Nashville for a visit with the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. I would not like that landing spot personally for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think many of you guys out there would like it as well. But that is what we're being handed at the moment. We'll see how it goes. And by the way, guys, I'm hopping into the lobby right now. Oh my gosh, there's only one. Hopefully you guys entered with me, because I don't know, we've been getting pretty lucky lately where when we enter these, there's actually a couple spots open. But, okay, we got J-Dubs in here. All right, let's go, JW. Michael, I don't know if you were wanting to join tonight or not, but I'm sorry if you were, man. But, okay, I mean, we got one of you guys in here. It used to be, like, I feel like it used to be so much easier. I mean, these drafts are just filling up very, very, very quickly these days. So, yeah, we've got Hopkins. I mean, I don't even want to say potentially going to the Titans. I still feel like he could go to an assortment of different teams out there, but he is going to visit with the Titans on Sunday. So, Washington Commanders open to listening to trade offers for Chase Young. We kind of got that news yesterday. Didn't really talk about it. Other than that, we don't have a lot of exciting things going on. It's that time of year, right? We got a lot of speculation, a lot of he said, she said. So we're getting closer to the regular season, though. We're getting closer to August, and we'll get to the point where there's some good fantasy news and some juicy stuff to talk about on a daily basis. All right, at the 1.2, I feel like I have to go Jamar Chase here, so that's what we'll do. We are not on the board for another 20 selections, so I mean, I don't think I've really seen any other order than JJ and Chase as the first two players off the board. I mean, I have plenty of exposure to Bijan Robinson and Underdog right now. Enough exposure to Austin Eckler, Christian McCaffrey, and even Tyreek Hill that, you know, if I'm ending up with JJ or Chase, I don't feel bad. I feel like I have enough merit in terms of the top tier guys. And Kelsey off the board at 1.5. I have quite a few bills with Kelsey as well. So I will keep hammering those two top players in JJ and Chase and not feel too bad about it. Michael got put in another draft. Dang it, man. Dang it. Jadab's Best Ball Mania 3 is easier. That's true. I mean, the puppy drafts, like, are obviously with the $5, entry. They're going to be filling quicker, so it's a good point. But yeah, Michael, keep us updated with your team. Make sure to post on Discord afterwards, and we'll take a look. Yeah, I feel you, J-Dubs. It just feels, I mean, I don't know. It just feels a little bit different being able to hop in. Because, like, you can enter 5 puppy drafts compared to 1 Best Ball Mania draft. But Best Ball Mania drafts are still going to be, I don't know, obviously the payouts are going to be a little bit higher. Stakes are going to feel a little bit higher as well. All right, so during last night's mock, I should say, we kind of ran through some different polls throughout the night. So I might do that again, but I'll let the initial poll of Bijan versus CMC stay. We ran a mock draft earlier, off-air redraft mock. And we had Taylor threw that together for us. So we had some names outside the community in there. And I was getting called out for going Bijan at 1.3 as the first running back off the board. And I don't know. I don't think that is too crazy. So I figured I'd run the poll. And I don't know. Right now, Bijan is leading the poll. So J-Dub says Bijan at 12 feels like March again. Yeah, that's a little surprising to me. But obviously, I mean, you always see kind of heavy wide receiver builds, value at wide receiver, or I should say wide receiver is valued a little bit more than the running back position in underdog draft. So, I don't know. I mean, even Eckler at 1.10 is like, I don't want to say too surprising. With Kelsey gone at 5, it's not like players like Hill, Cup, Lamb, Diggs, and Brown, and even Amon-Ra St. Brown, aren't being valued the same way as guys like Eckler and Bijan. It's just the wide receiver position takes so much more merit in underdog draft. So, okie doke. I kind of want Devonta Smith right here. Okay. Let's take him. Guys, I really think, Devonta Smith, a very good rookie season, a great year last year. I think he's going to, as long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be very, very good this year. Like, I just think he's being super underrated on a regular basis. So, you guys know I've always been a Devonta Smith fan. He was a player I talked about a ton last offseason. And I just think, like, my love for Devonta Smith is starting to grow once again. All right, I really like Breece Hall right here. I don't think there's any way I could go T. Higgins and then land Joe Burrow at pick 47. But let's try it. You got to switch up your exposure. I actually want to check. I'll check in a second what my overall exposure for the year is looking like. But I have drafted Breece Hall a ton so far. But yeah, looking at Devonta Smith, your wide receiver 9 last year. Just under 1,200 receiving yards, 7 touchdowns off of 95 receptions, 136 targets. I think the Eagles' offense is only going to continue to progress. And, I love the connection between Hurts and A.J. Brown. But I do think that Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts have just as a unique chemistry. So I always like those kind of like PPR machine type guys, those security blanket type players. Jalen Waddles, Devonta Smiths, Amon-Ra St. Brown, even a guy like CeeDee Lamb. I really like those type of receivers. So I've had a couple builds lately where like Devonta Smith is like my wide receiver 1. And I just don't have a problem with that. So, all right. So yeah, let me see if I can pull up kind of what my exposure is looking like so far. Andrea, hello. How are you doing tonight? Thank you for being here. So let's see here. All right, so it breaks it down by each tournament. So hold on a second. Okay. Here's for the entire 2023 season. So Kenneth Gainwell is my most drafted player. No surprise there. Rashid Shaheed, Allen Lazard, Brock Purdy, Noah Fant. I mean, those later round guys are going to be a little bit more consistent than the first half of your drafts. But Bijan Robinson is my second most drafted running back. Isaiah Pacheco is my third. But he is tied with Breece Hall, Rashad White, and Jerick McKinnon. All those running backs are 29.6% drafted. Bijan Robinson is at 33.3% drafted. Kenneth Gainwell is at 70.4%. I might need to actually stop drafting Kenneth Gainwell at the end of drafts. Jahmyr Gibbs is at 25.9%, along with Michael Carter. Just kind of a running back I kind of consistently take as a dart throw in the drafts. DeAndre Swift is my next most drafted running back. So yeah, I knew that Breece Hall had to be pretty high up there, so he's tied for third overall. Most drafted wide receivers, I've got Rashid Shaheed, Allen Lazard, Christian Watson, Drake London, Jahan Dotson. Interesting group. And then I've got JSN, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk, all tied. But you guys know, like I kind of consistently go for mid to late wide receiver value as well. So those names don't necessarily surprise me. Most drafted tight ends, I'm very interested in this one because I generally go late round tight end. Noah Fant is my number one most drafted tight end, but he's just such a good value. It's not like I'm drafting him as my number one tight end. He's just consistently a tight end 2 or 3 for my builds. Cole Kmet is my second most drafted tight end at 33.3%. Fant was at 40.7%. Evan Ingram and Hayden Hurst are at 18.5%. They're my next two most drafted tight ends. Hayden Hurst, just another player who at the end of drafts I'm taking as a kind of just a depth piece, honestly, who's just a good value. Then Greg Dulcich is my next highest drafted tight end. Quarterbacks I'm interested in. Brock Purdy is my number one most drafted quarterback. This makes sense because especially like earlier in the offseason, I was consistently taking Brock Purdy as a QB2 or QB3 because his value was ridiculous, and I was of the belief that he would be fine going into this year. Even if he missed like 2 or 3 games, he would still be the primary quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm not necessarily surprised by that. Even now, I'm going to take Burrow here. I don't think this team in front of me would take Burrow, but I just don't want to risk it having Higgins and Chase. So I'm going to take Burrow right here. But yeah, like not getting Hawkinson or Jones doesn't necessarily upset me. I kind of want to go wide receiver here. I probably shouldn't, but I think I'm going to. DJ Moore and Christian Kirk are sitting here. I really like both these guys. I'm gonna go DJ Moore. People are out there gonna hate that, but I'm gonna go with DJ right there. Okay, where was I? So yeah, Brock Purdy's at 40.7%, but I just like have so many builds where I've taken him as my last, like QB2 or 3. So yeah. All right, Aaron Rodgers as my second most drafted quarterback at 25.9%. Trevor Lawrence and Kyler Murray are tied at 22.2%. Especially early, like my Kyler shares have kind of started to drop, but earlier in the offseason, I was really on a consistent basis taking him similar to how I was taking Brock Purdy, just as a QB2 or 3. And then Patrick Mahomes is my fifth most drafted quarterback. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If Mahomes is in my top 5, I feel like I'm not too much of an idiot. So, but Trevor Lawrence I'm happy with, and even Aaron Rodgers I'm happy with in there too. So, but yeah, just if you guys were curious, I was curious personally. So, I do feel like I need to start switching up some of the running backs I'm drafting, because that list is definitely, it doesn't change very often. Same with the tight end position. So maybe that's something for me to think about. All right, let's see here. Michael says first 2 picks are Garrett Wilson and Olave. I love it. Godfather, how you doing tonight? Thank you for being here. Hello, hello. Sorry, guys. Let me get the screen kind of adjusted. Actually, that should work. All right, that should be good for now. Jake, what's going on, man? Good to see you. It's been a while. In a dynasty start at PPR, start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 4 flex. How much do you value wide receivers over running backs? I feel like with 6 flex, I'd like to go wide receiver with all my first 6 picks. Wow. 4 flex spots is tough. So, my initial thought is, yes, I would personally value the wide receiver position more than the running back position in Dynasty, and I would like to play more wide receivers, especially in full PPR, of course, in the flex positions. But you always want to be careful. You always want to read the board. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're at a complete disadvantage at running back. If a lot of running backs are going early or even in the mid tiers, you still want to have some pieces. But, I guess my other question would be, is it a super flex league? Because that's going to be important as well. It doesn't sound like it if you were thinking of going wide receivers with their first 6 selections, but yeah, I'm completely okay with valuing the wide receiver position over any other position, and trying to go with having several wide receivers in those flex positions. That's what I would probably personally be trying to do as well. But yeah, that 4 flex spots is pretty tough, man. Pretty tough. All right, I'm going to go Swifty here. I like Swift from a best ball perspective. Okay, I'm going to go with Rachaad White right here. And I really like the start to this draft tonight. DeAndre Swift, Rachaad White, Burrow's my QB, Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, DJ Moore. So, need to pay attention to bye weeks. Week 7 and Week 10 with having mostly Eagles and Bengals players I'm a little heavy on. But other than that, I like this start quite a bit. So, yeah, Jake, I would I just be careful. Like, don't... I don't know. I think you might want to try a little bit more balance with those first 6 selections. Is it a tight end premium league would be the other question. You can find some good value at wide receiver in later rounds as well. Try to bring a little bit of balance, but like I wouldn't mind if you took 4 wide receivers with your first 6 selections. I see you say it's a single quarterback, 3rd round reversal, choose at the back end of the draft. Yeah, I mean, you just got to be careful with quarterback as well. Like, I would probably go, if you really want to aggressively go at wide receiver, I'd probably draft 4 wide receivers, a quarterback, and a running back. There's still some good mid-round value at tight end, so I think you could work that out. But I wouldn't. I'd just be really careful with the quarterback position. If you're at the back end and you get the 3rd round reversal, I'm not completely against going 3 wide receivers in a row. But when you get to that 4th and 5th round pick, I would probably take a quarterback there, because even in a single quarterback dynasty draft, quarterbacks are going to start going pretty early and go pretty swiftly, and that panic can start very quickly, because you just have to imagine it's such an important position from a fantasy perspective, and you're playing a dynasty league. Like, you need a quarterback long term. So, but yeah, let me know your thoughts, and we can continue to kind of break that down. Jake World, you should draft Tyler Boyd too. I might. If he's there at the right value, I might for sure. J-Dub says wide receivers last much longer in Dynasty. Yeah, I would. I would definitely just. I mean, like I said, I don't mind if a majority of your first half of the draft is going the wide receiver position, but try to bring a little bit of balance, you know. And like I said, you just got to follow the board sometimes. You might get kind of shocked. You might look at the board and like the first round is, or maybe not the first round, but like the second round has 6 quarterbacks gone and 3 running backs are gone. I don't know, in the same range. So you just have to be careful, follow the board, and make sure you're not hurting your team just based on what's happening. You know what I mean? Michael says first 4 picks: Wilson, Olave, London, Walker. I like it. Andrea says, should you draft young or old or both in Dynasty? Well, it just kind of depends, right? You can kind of build your squad, win now, which I don't particularly recommend. You can kind of try to find a balance somewhere in between where you still have some veteran-esque players who put you in a win now position, but you're also build throughout your draft for the future. Sometimes you can come out of your draft with that type of strategy where you're going to compete right away and all your rookies hit and you're also set up for like the next 2 to 3-ish years, right? Or you can just build up draft picks for the following 2 drafts and get a lot of young guys and sit back for the year, you know? I kind of like to be somewhere in the middle, but there's a little bit of risk still associated with that. But I do think it's the best place to be. You might not be competitive right away, but if you're putting your team in a position to be competitive for the next, or within the next 2 years, that's probably the safest route, in my opinion. But once again, you want to make sure you're kind of following the trend within your specific league. I'm going to go Kamara here. This is a weird ADP spot for me where like I'm not crazy about a lot of names. Like I feel like I'd be reaching for, part of me wants to snag another quarterback here, but I don't think I'm going to. Screw it. Let's go Tyler Boyd. It's so stupid. Let's go Tyler Boyd because why not? But now, like, I can't afford to have any more wide receivers on bye in week 7. So, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't. It's a little bit overexposure to the Bengals, but it is fun. It is fun. And now, like, even though I have drafted 5 wide receivers, I probably need to try and plan to draft one additional wide receiver because I've got 3 on the same bye week. I need to really avoid weeks 10 and 13 as well. So, yeah, I mean, typically I'm probably going Alan Lazard right there, or Evan Ingram, or even like A.J. Dillon, Pat Freiermuth, maybe going with the second quarterback, like Daniel Jones or Aaron Rodgers, maybe J-Mo. But screw it. Let's go Tyler Boyd. Jadams brings up a good point. Draft for best value, but prioritize youth. I think that's the perfect way to say it. You know, you have to follow the board. You know, I mean, if you're in the beginning of the third round and, you know, Austin Eckler's there and you really didn't plan on going running back early, but you feel like he is literally the best player available, and there are, you know, a couple rookies available, whatever. Just make sure you're following your gut and you're not passing up on value. So, Matt, what's going on, man? Hello. Good to see you, bro. How long do you think Keenan Allen has before he drops off? You know, a lot of people thought it'd be last year. And he was just fine when he was healthy. You know, I think that's... I don't think it's a matter of skill for Keenan Allen at all. I think it's plenty to do with if he can stay healthy or not. So I'd give it a year or two. I don't know what his contract looks like. I'm going to look it up. He's under contract through next year, so I wouldn't plan on... I mean, how long has Keenan Allen been in the league? Obviously been a long time. He's going into his 11th season. He could certainly sign with like a contender, sign with an offense, have some impact, but I would say... I mean, I love Keenan Allen, don't get me wrong, but that drop-off is probably pretty close. Pretty close. I mean, especially with the drafting of Quentin Johnston. Now, you've got Mike Williams there. He's got to stay healthy as well. And, you know, unfortunately, like I said, I'm a big fan. So we'll see how it shapes out. I mean, Josh Palmer is a good young receiver as well. But I won't be surprised if he's, you know, if he's healthy, I think he could definitely have a very consistent year. We'll see what happens, though. Jake says, what a fun team. Hey, man. I do believe in, like, making best ball teams, like, just have a little bit of fun with it, because you definitely want to make sure your exposure is, you know, kind of being switched up, and you're changing things up from time to time. I would definitely draft Allen Lazard right here. I don't know if he'll be available. He goes Romeo Dobbs. Okay. I'm not against that, but I'm going to draft Lazard. I thought about taking him over Boyd, so I didn't check he's got a week 7 bye. Okay, so that's the problem. I'm going to have to draft like 8 wide receivers. That's a little bit of a problem. Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers on the same bye. That's a problem. I mean, it is just 1 week, don't get me wrong, but I still don't particularly like that. But we're going to come back to that probably. I'm going to draft Antonio Gibson right here. I really like that value. So I still like this team. But we've got to clean up at tight end towards the end of this draft and still find some quarterback value here towards the end of the draft. I think we can clean this up pretty nicely. We'll see what we come up with. Jake, that answered my second question. I've always been a wait until late rounds on quarterbacks, but I feel like with the quarterbacks nowadays, they're worth an earlier pick. It just grinds my gears spending an early pick on quarterback. I mean, that's fair in like redraft. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. But in Dynasty, you need to be especially careful because, like I said, those quarterbacks can start to really fly off the board quickly. And yeah, I just be really careful with it. Because, I mean, there's always opportunities to get quarterbacks throughout your rookie drafts, but, like, it takes some time, not always, but most of the time for a quarterback to really get going. So, just be careful with it. It's such an important position in fantasy, and you're going to want that good stability at the position as the years go on, for sure. J-Dub says, get your guys well. Nothing worse than seeing someone pick your player 100%. 100%. Trust your gut, follow your conviction, and try not to overthink it when it comes to your dynasty drafts. Matt, I got an offer for dynasty. I'd be receiving Allen in a 2024 third, probably a mid pick. I would be sending Brevin Jordan, Otten, Jerome Ford, and Tyler Huntley. Okay, so it's Keenan Allen. I had to think for a second. I'm not keen on getting rid of Ford or Otten. Tight end premium superflex start 2 tight ends. Ooh. I personally like Cade Otten a lot. I don't know that I do it. I don't think it's worth it. The Brevin Jordan, Tyler Huntley part doesn't really matter to me personally. The Cade Otten, Jerome Ford, I do think could hold a lot of value for you down the road. So I would probably... I mean, I guess the next question is, like, are you going to win now? Or are you contending? Because if you're contending, you get Allen for, like, a year-ish. And then you get a third-round pick. I do think the Allen side of things is okay for a contending team. But overall for your squad, like especially Cade Otten, Jerome Ford, I think probably hold the most value on either side of the trade if you're thinking long term. So I don't know that I don't know that I go through with the trade. I mean, how do you feel about it? And chat, let us know what you guys think about it as well. James, what's wrong with scoring 0-1 week in best ball? I mean, sometimes those total points, towards the end of the year can make a big difference. So I don't know. It could just be a matter of those couple of points hanging around that do elevate you into the next round or not, or into the playoffs in general. So I don't personally like potentially cheating myself out of a week. But at the same time, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Always. All right, I'm going to go Derek Carr here. Carr is going to be my QB2. Let's do it. Got 4 running backs all on different buys. I'm probably just going to take like 2 dart throws at running back to wrap this up. I'm going to go Rashid Shaheed here. I'm going to reach a bit. I mean, I need a wide receiver who's not on a week 7 bye. And I stack him with Carr. I just know Shaheed, especially with you at the end of things here, J-Dubs. I know he won't make it back here to 167. I really wanted Cole Kmet right there. It's going to pain me to see Kmet go to another team. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I still think there's a lot of... I mean, this is the trap I always fall into, is I go for that late round tight end value. And, yeah. I probably need to start going for a little bit more upside at the tight end position. Matt, if Keenan Allen was younger, it would be easier for me to say yes. It's a startup, so my team isn't bad. Just don't know where I would land at the end of the year, but I think I'll be good. Yeah, I'm leaning towards no. Yeah. I think for me, I'm going with a no there. If, like I said, if you were for sure contending, I don't hate it. Frees up some roster spots for you if you feel like you wanted them, but I think overall, long term, your side of things is better. Jake, why are people taking Thielen and Mingo over Chark? Isn't Chark the number 1? I've been taking Chark first. I don't think we truthfully really know who the wide receiver 1 for the Panthers is. I think that's going to take a little bit of time to develop, and we're going to find out Bryce Young's tendencies, which we just straight up don't know right now. So I think it's tough to say. Mingo brings the upside because, he's coming into the league alongside Bryce Young. I think they'll build chemistry over time. Thielen and Chark are kind of those veteran stability pieces. I don't mind like going Chark over Thielen. I don't even really mind like at Chark's current ADP if you want to go with him over Mingo. But yeah, I mean, if Thielen is fully healthy, Thielen was on a very good pace last year before he got hurt when he really break things down. So yeah, I'm not. Like I said, it depends on how you look at it, and if you feel like Chark is the best option, I don't particularly have a problem with that. But I just think it's going to take some time before we truly, really know what Bryce Young's tendencies are. What his preferences are, I should say. Going Chase Brown here. Give me some more Bengals players. All right, how many more draft picks do I have? 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. I definitely need another tight end. I might just roll with Joe Burrow, Derek Carr at quarterback. Like I feel like they're not really quarterbacks who get hurt. Might just roll with a 2 quarterback build. I think I'll take one more wide receiver who has a different bye week than any of the guys I've got. Take another running back, take another tight end. I think that's how I want to wrap it up. We'll see what the board looks like, though. Might take a quarterback. We'll see. J-Dub says, I don't think being fearful of having multiple buys is good. Everyone has a buy. I guess that's true. It just worries me for whatever reason. Jake, TJ Hawkinson or Dallas Goedert in a dynasty league? I'm probably still going T-Hawk, but I really like Goddard. But T-Hawk is 3 years younger, going into his 5th season. Hawkinson is 25. Goddard's 28, going into his 6th season. So I'm probably going Hawkinson. But I love both those guys. I mean, I think Goddard, statistically, if he didn't miss time last year, could have finished as a top 5 tight end easily. So, although Hawkinson finished as tight end 2, it's not really like doesn't feel like recency biasy for me. Very, very close. I love both guys, but I gotta go Hawkinson. Man, Heat got Heat were keeping it basket to basket, and then obviously I haven't watched the second half, but I guess I got essentially blown out. Jeez. Joker's stat line from the night is crazy. Not really surprising, though. All right, 3 more rounds, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for the questions tonight. Really appreciate them, and I enjoy you guys bouncing your thoughts, concerns going into the season this year off me. Okay, so 3 more picks for me. Probably not going with another quarterback since J-Dubs just took Purdy. Need another tight end. Probably going to go tight end, wide receiver, running back. Kenneth Gainwell still on the board. Might as well try and keep him as my top selected running back. Oh, never mind. He's gone. Okay, so my wide receivers have week 7, 10, 13, and 11 buys. So I need to avoid those weeks. Man, I wanted Isaiah Hodgins. Literally, I queued Kenneth Gainwell. He got taken. I queued Isaiah Hodgins. He got taken. Ooh, I don't really like... the available wide receivers. Not going to lie. I mean, I might just take a dart throw. with that final selection. So let's see who is available, who's not a wide receiver. Oh man, this is a pretty competitive draft tonight. Usually there's a fair amount of players that I'm pretty happy with, but right now the draft board is not too pretty. I'll probably just go tight end here. I might take 2 tight ends off the board. I don't know. I'm going to go Trey McBride because I'm a Trey McBride fan. I got Mike Gesicki, Michael Mayer, Hayden Hurst, Isaiah Likely, Jake Ferguson available. Yeah, I think I'd go... the running backs are just not good right now. Just give me Michael Carter. Okay, we'll take Michael Carter. I mean, if I went quarterback there, it's Stroud, Ritter, Jones, Garoppolo, Mayfield. I guess I could have gone Mayfield and try to go Kate Otten with my last pick. I don't know. Just kind of like I said, I just did not like what was available on the board right there. Oh well, we'll survive. All right, one more selection for the night. I still like this team. It's just last couple picks. I don't know. I don't know. We got some pretty good value actually. Take a dart throw wide receiver in the night, but Burrow and Carr at quarterback. I could still go with one more QB if I wanted to. Swift, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara, Gibson, Chase Brown, Michael Carter at running back. Heavy at wide receiver. Jamar Chase, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, Tyler Boyd, Allen Lazard, Rashid Shaheed, Jawan Johnson, Trey McBride at tight end. So we've got Carr with Shaheed and Johnson. We've got Burrow. Maybe Chase Brown. Maybe, but probably not a lot of throwing and catching between those two. But Jamar Chase, Higgins, Boyd, we have, I feel pretty good about that. That's the first triple stack I've hit this year so far. I did a lot more of that last year. I would go after drafting Eckler, Herbert, Mike Williams, and/or Keenan Allen. That did not end up working out. So. I thought it would. I mean, it wasn't awful, but the Chargers just ultimately were disappointing as a unit last year from a fantasy perspective. Injuries, up and downs is what it is. So definitely a lot of risk if you overexpose yourself to too many players on the same team. All right, so I've got 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. I could take another tight end, take another quarterback, or I could go with one more wide receiver. I mean, I've got 6 running backs, 7 wide receivers. I actually kind of like Terrace Marshall as a dart throw at the end of drafts, but he's got a week 7 bye, and I'm trying to avoid week 7. I could go Darius Slayton's kind of interesting, but that wide receiver room's so crowded. Might just go Kate Otten and call it a night. Quarterbacks, I might just go Mac Jones and get a depth piece, but he's got the same bye week as Carr. Running backs, you got T.H., Deuce Vaughn, James Robinson, Josh Kelly, Cordell Patterson. It's just not. Wide receivers, Darius Slayton, Nathaniel Dell. Kind of like Dell. Tim Patrick, Marvin Jones, Josh Palmer, Terrace Marshall. Tight ends, Isaiah Likely, Jake Ferguson, Musgrave, Henry, and Jelani Woods. There goes Mac Jones. So right now we're looking at Darius Slayton or Cade Otton. I might go Slayton. I don't really mind having the additional tight end, though. Could go Musgrave, could go Likely. Let's go Isaiah Likely. Let's get a little crazy. Switch up that exposure. Who are your late round sleeper picks and Underdog? Well, it definitely depends, like, you know, what your definition of late round is. But I love Shaheed. I mean, his ADP is 166.5. So I love where you can snag Shaheed at the wide receiver position. Still like Isaiah Hodgins. I like Kenneth Gainwell. I like Chuba Hubbard and Michael Carter. I do like Trey McBride, Hayden Hurst. I love Noah Fant's ADP right now. Randall Robinson. Still like Kyler Murray's ADP. I like DPJ's ADP. Say that 10 times fast. DPJ's ADP. Okay, that's not too bad. I think Cole Kmet's a great value right now. I like Roshan Johnson. You just got to think of players who you think will be competitive in weeks like 13 through 17. And, you know, think about players like Kenneth Gainwell, who might be in a position where they might be seeing more touches towards the end of the year. Players like Roshan Johnson, you might be seeing more touches at the end of the year. Might have a better chance to score in those competitive games that are pushing teams in real life and in the playoffs, and then hopefully pushing you into the tournament itself and throughout the tournament, quote-unquote, fantasy playoffs for Underdog as well. So, yeah, I mean, I like all. I know I just named like 10 players, but Greg Dulcich has a good ADP. Eli Mitchell, Jerick McKinnon, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, Jameson Williams actually is pretty nice value. Alan Lazard, Zay Jones. I like where A-Chain and Dylan are going. So, yeah, a lot of good names. Do you use Underdog rankings or your own? For ADP, I just go by Underdog's rankings. All right, there's my squad for you. Burrow and Carr, Swift, White, Kamara, Gibson, Brown, Carter, Chase Smith, Higgins, Moore, Boyd, Lazard, Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, McBride, Isaiah Likely. A little bit of a different team, but I like it for the night. Why not? Got Burrow with his 3 wide receivers. Got Carr with Shaheed and Johnson and Kamara. Got Chase Brown on here as well. So hopefully the Saints, the Bengals are competitive throughout the end of the year. I like this team. Like I said, a little bit different, but I'm good with it. All right, J-Dubs, what'd you do tonight? Lamar, Kyler, Brock, love the quarterbacks. All rookie running backs. Oh, my gosh. Okay, now I see what you mean by a fun team. Albert, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. Bijan, Gibbs, A-Chain, Charbs, Evans, McBride. Okay. It could work out. I mean, you're probably going to get immediate value out of, definitely will get out of Bijan, and I would say Gibbs as well. So, like, you can rely on those guys to start right away. And then A-Chain and Charbs probably get some early touches, and Evans and McBride could too. So, okay. Like I said, have some fun. Switch up that exposure. Garrett Wilson, Chris Godwin, JSN, Gabe Davis, Rashad Bateman, Mingo, Rondell Moore, Chig, and Dawson Knox. So you've got one target for Lamar, one for Kyler. Hopefully he's playing. And Brock on his own, but that's okay. Don't always have to have the stack. So, hey, man, it's a fun build. Why not? Why not? Andrea, have a good night. Thank you for hanging out tonight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's your draft for the night. I really do enjoy a good underdog draft. Middle of the week. Just feels right. All right, tomorrow night we'll hop into a Dynasty startup mock. Our last practice before League number 1 drafts, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Other than that, thank you guys for hanging out tonight. If you guys need anything, let me know. Hit me up on Discord or Instagram. And make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for being here tonight. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Check out the links down below, all that good stuff. And that'll wrap it up. Right back at you, J-Dubs. Good drafting tonight, my dude. Appreciate you drafting with me as always, man. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the night. So, love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the catch, fan. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. With that, I will say, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the catch. And